Imagine a time when you could order your dream house directly from a catalog, much like we order furniture from IKEA today. Well, in the early 20th century, this was not only possible, but incredibly popular. Thanks to Sears, Roebuck and Company's innovative Modern Homes program, families could order houses complete with all the materials needed for assembly. These homes were shipped across the country, allowing people to construct them almost as easily as assembling flat-packed furniture. So where did things go wrong? How could such a practical solution suddenly fall apart? And what remains of these iconic Sears catalog homes today? Stay tuned as we explore the rise and fall of Sears catalog homes. An old practice. The practice of buying a catalog home actually began hundreds of years ago, specifically in the 1400s. In those times, there were some of the first catalogs ever made, such as the Venetian book catalog, which catered to the purchasing needs of early shoppers. Over time, other catalogs came into the market, like the William Lucas Seed catalog of 1667. As time went by, the networks for delivering orders continued to expand, making the purchase through catalogs even more popular. The advertisers on these catalogs capitalized on the popularity of the catalogs to sell products massively, as the catalogs could be found in almost every home. The wide network of railways and the developing mail delivery system made sales more convenient. The beauty of the catalogs was that sellers could just pay to get their products advertised without having to create office branches and pay middlemen to sell or distribute their products, which was far more affordable, and they got to keep a significant profit. Consumers would skim through the magazine, and when they found a home that caught their attention, all they had to do was reach the producers by mail, and in a few weeks the deal was done and the goods would be transported by railway to the location, and trucks would transport the materials to the site. This was basically the framework for distribution, and this business developed into what we know today as Sears. The question is, if this commercial business existed long before Sears, what led to its breakout in America? Well, here's a background story that you probably won't hear anywhere else. The man called Sears. Back in 1863, a man called Richard Warren Sears was born into a pretty wealthy family in Stewartville, Minnesota. He grew up with a relatively popular name, as the name Sears was already an established business name. His father was an astute businessman with networks in various businesses, and the family moved to Spring Valley after Richard's birth. Unbeknownst to Richard, his life was about to take a terrible turn. His father, James, made a huge bet on stocks, and when the stocks crashed, he lost all his wealth. As if things couldn't get any worse, James died shortly after losing all his fortune, leaving the family with nothing. Richard had no option but to find a job fast. He soon secured a job as a telegrapher for one of the railroad companies in Minnesota, known as North Redwood. While he was there, he saved up enough money to purchase a large shipment of watches that couldn't be shipped, which he sold at a profit. Things went so well that in 1886, he started a mail order business specifically for the sale of watches. The company was called R.W. Sears Watch Company. In the same year, Sears met a professional watch repairman named Alva Curtis Roebuck, and the two business minds quickly hit it off. They decided to collaborate and founded Sears, Roebuck and Company. So in 1887, the duo moved to Chicago to start the first Sears mail order catalog. The first issue was all about luxury diamond-studded watches. In 1889, Sears made significant profit and decided to sell the business for $100,000 to invest in banking. After cashing out his bank investment, Sears and Roebuck became full-time partners, and in 1893, they restarted their mail order business, except this time, they decided to think outside the box. Sears published magazines to advertise their luxury wristwatches and jewelry, but besides their own products, they started to advertise products from other vendors, such as shoes, furniture, lawnmowers, grills, snowblowers, and other household accessories. In just a year, the catalog went from 196 pages to 507 pages, as more vendors scrambled to secure advert space. Amidst their success, Roebuck's health began to decline, and by the end of the 19th century, Roebuck decided to leave, but rather than split the company in two, he sold his shares to Julius Rosenwald for $25,000. Rosenwald took over a major part of the administration and was instrumental to bringing in new products into the catalogs, such as hardware, farm products, household items, and even drugs. Sears and Rosenwald continued to expand the company, moving its headquarters about until it nestled in Chicago in 1906. building warehouses and offices in various locations. This marked the beginning of an epidemic of consumerism in the United States. The Sears Tower was built in 1973 and became the official headquarters. With Rosenwald's expertise, the company made a huge leap of $50 million in profits in 1907. Sears was so impressed that he made him chairman of the board in 1908. Sears himself had been struggling with some health issues and needed someone he could trust to take the mantle of chairman, and who better to play the part than his partner, Rosenwald. Sears knew that he would retire pretty soon, and he needed to do one last great thing before he hung up the boots. He came up with one last great idea, one that the Sears Company became known for in years to come. Sears Modern Home. 1908 to 1942. Sears included the sale of modern homes across North America in the newest catalogs and delivered all the necessary building materials needed for the construction, as well as detailed instructions to the site. The buyers had the option of assembling their houses on their own, often with the help of friends and family. This DIY-style housing wasn't exactly from Sears. You see, earlier in 1906, a company called Alladin from Bay City, Michigan, advertised their pre-cut pieces of logs and materials that can serve as additions to building a home. These materials were advertised on the Sears catalog, and over time, the manager of the Alladin Company, Frank W. Cushel, recommended the same business to Sears, but with a twist. Instead of supplying just pre-cut pieces to add to the structure of the home, Sears could sell entire houses that came with instructions on how to assemble. At that time, Sears had a large number of building materials that took up warehouse spaces and could not be sold. The Sears Modern Home was a great way to convert these raw materials into homes. The Book of Modern Homes with Building Plans was released in 1908 and was the first of its kind. The catalog offered up to 44 different house models with a price tag ranging from $360 to $2,890. Early models were identified by their numbers, but by the year 1918 onwards, Sears provided distinctive names. Some of these names were Alhambra, Avondale, Conway, Winona, Cornell, Argyle, and Barrington. One of the best Sears models was the Magnolia. It was the largest and certainly the most expensive model of all. Only 7 Magnolias exist today. The process of purchasing the catalog homes was easy. All you had to do was order the Sears home with the information provided on the catalog and then meet with an associate to coordinate a plan in any of the offices, and your home will be delivered. It wasn't long before Sears eventually established a lumber mill in Cairo, Illinois, to create more pre-cut materials. There were so many orders that Sears had to also use external contractors in the production of building materials, such as the Norwood Sash and Door Company. There was also a clear distinction when these contractors came on board because the lumbers used to be delivered uncut, and the customer had to cut the lumber themselves. When Norwood came on board, the lumber was pre-cut at the lumber yard in New Jersey. Houses with uncut lumber were referred to as catalog houses, while those with pre-cut lumber were called kit houses. More people went for the pre-cut lumber as it reduced the time required to set up the houses by at least 40%. The use of the balloon-style system made construction extremely fast, requiring fewer skilled laborers. Deliveries were made by trucks to the construction sites, carrying at least 30,000 necessary building parts, inclusive of plumbing parts and HVAC systems. Sears offered a wide variety of home models using the same material, making them reliable and consistent. Best of all, they were very affordable and practically at giveaway offers compared to how much it would take to build a regular house. By 1930, up to 48 Sears offices were launched. The housing business was experiencing nationwide success. Sadly, Sears took a devastating hit and everything crumbled. The last Sears Modern catalog was released in 1942. How did it all go wrong? How did the billion-dollar business fold? The fall. Sears Modern Home programs allowed many people to own homes. But when the Great Depression came, many businesses were affected. Most businesses shut down. Sears had to shut down some of their branch offices and were left with only 19 of them in 1939. Many homeowners were on mortgages, and when people started to default on their mortgages, things got really bad. The business liquidated some of its mortgages, and by the 40s, sales slowed down drastically. To top it off, Sears ran short of building materials and resources and stopped delivering modern homes. Other businesses that also offered the same mail-order housing faced difficulties before and after the Great Depression. After the Second World War, all businesses that offered housing were completely dissolved. All that remained were the already built Sears catalog homes that were already in use before the Great Depression and World War II. Sears had sold nothing less than 70,000 homes during the time the catalogs were in circulation, and the houses were spread across Eastern, Midwest, and North America, even reaching some parts of Canada. Interestingly, there are no records of where these Sears houses were built, so it would be quite difficult to tell which buildings are Sears and which ones are not. Today, the true Sears homes are very few, to the extent that identifying Sears homes has become a part-time hobby for history enthusiasts. After 34 years of business, these homes would disappear without a trace, without a comprehensive database to aid in locating them. These structures have been copied over the years by many manufacturers. However, there are subtle differences in structure and design. Many homes masquerading as Sears are products of other different manufacturers and often do not meet the quality standards of the real thing. Sears is sturdy and can be identified with authentic methods such as their original paperwork, shipping labels, public records, and the stamps on the lumber. If someone wanted to know if they were living in one of the Sears houses, these methods could be used to confirm, or you could call one of the researchers from SearsHouses.com to come over and conduct the necessary examinations. And if your home was truly one of the rare gems on the century, then you are in luck, as there are very few of them remaining. Researchers have been able to find some rare Sears homes, about 700 of them in the suburbs of Cincinnati, Ohio, while at least 1,000 of them were confirmed in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and other locations like Wood River, Illinois. Sears homes are not just architectural artifacts, but also a symbol of past innovation and a measure of style in an age that is long gone. What are your thoughts on these age-old structures? Let us know in the comments. Be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Thanks for watching.